Ben Shephard.
I've been wanting to stroke that. Oh, I've been watching the show. Thinking, yes, I love it.
You can hug her if you like.
Are we allowed to hug?
Oh.
I've missed hugs.
I need some of that sugar too.
Come on. I've not been allowed... Can you talk about hugging?
Yes.
I've not been... We because of COVID, when we were filming Tipping Point, and I love a hug. I love celebrating. Lots of people come on just for a Ben hug. I was banned from hugging people because you have to be... And we still haven't been able to reintroduce the hugs. So I'm desperate to get back to hugging.
So is a Ben hug a thing, is it?
It is a thing, yeah. It's a hashtag.
What I thought, it's a thing, all right.
I noticed you didn't hug Jane because you were worried about the nail in your neck.
Yeah.
Jane and I have shared lots of hugs in the past, haven't we, Jane? Over the years.
Yes.
We have.
Well, you look exactly the same, by the way, as you did in that picture.
That was when I was hosting the Bigger Breakfast years and years and years ago. God, look at that. That was before all the early mornings. And without glasses on. I just feel like I've got my glasses on. I don't think I've ever... I've been reading the book, and I've just got to that age where your eyesight just stops working and you suddenly realise, and I have to put... Literally, it's just started. It's sort of fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, I'm trying to hang on to mine.
Well, let's talk about the book, Humble Heroes, inspirational stories of hope, heart and humanity. And the lovely thing, I think, about it is where it came from, which was you kind of COVID times, just wanting to find some good news. It
was really a reaction to the pandemic, lockdown, everybody sort of getting isolated. There were a lot of people that were having to shelter, so they couldn't necessarily, on Shield, because they couldn't necessarily see their friends and family. I was coming in here, just next door is the Good Morning Britain studio, and we were coming in and informing everybody what was going on. It was a hugely important job, but the landscape at the time was scary. The news landscape was pretty bleak. And I found myself being drawn to a lot of online stories of hope and joy and fun. I started sharing them, and the response I was getting from the people that I was sharing them with was phenomenal. Everybody was looking for some reason to smile at a time when we didn't really know what was going on.
Great timing, because we were talking yesterday on the show, actually, about news anxiety.
Yes.
Because, you know, everybody's just, like, feeling terribly, like, overwrought with it all.
I mean, we've had another sort of pretty horrendous morning, haven't we? Trying to digest and understand how that's going to impact us. So we did this call out on Instagram for people to nominate humble heroes, people in their communities that are trying to make a difference. And we were overwhelmed with ideas, and we surprised a lot of people on Instagram, and it's just built from that, built a bit of momentum, and finally we've been able to put the book together. And it's been such a privilege. This is not a book about me. I've just curated these stories about these incredible people. Just renew your faith in human nature at a time we all need that hug.
It's so... Oh, go on, baby.
No, I was just saying, I love the charity element that it seems to be, because reading through some of the examples in the book, it's almost like they're given a platform as well through you to talk about really good causes, like the Bloody Good Period, the campaign that's...
Well, so Gabby Edlin, who created Bloody Good Period, which is a fantastic project that sort of all came about because Gabby had this thought. She was sitting about 2015. What happens to homeless women when they're on their period? Where do they go when they need support? And then it sort of went on from there to refugees who come over. And the average refugee, when I wrote the book, which was probably about a year ago, each week had about £40 a week to spend, and they can't work. So that's to spend on food, on travel, on everything they could possibly need. Jem Steen also came up with the Bike Project, which is about giving refugees a bike so they can get some independence and they can travel. So matching them up with bikes that are sitting in people's sheds and giving them a bit of freedom. And Gabby basically decided that she needed to try and offer, because the only way people could go to refugees and shelters to get help with medicine, to get support with children, to get food, to get nappies, to get legal advice, but it was only in emergencies that they could be given period products.
Wow.
But, of course, it's not emergency, is it? Like, you know, you lot all know more than I do. You know, there is no emergency. It's not a surprise when this happens once a month. So, actually, why should it be an emergency? So, surely it should be available for anybody that needs it, just like you go in and get some food.
Which it is in Scotland now, actually.
And that's the point. So Scotland have done that. And the other thing about Bloody Good Period as well was she really had to fight for the name, because the Charity Commission didn't want something that would make people feel uncomfortable, because having bloody and period in the name. But they fought for it. It's a brilliant name, of course, and actually getting people talking about it.
What's uncomfortable is having your period and no sanitary products.
Now, talking of humble, in the world of television, you're actually a pretty humble guy, and obviously your best mate Kate. She's also very humble. I just wanted to ask you, because we only really sort of see her doing the news and stuff in the mornings. How is she?
She's great. She is... I mean, she's brilliantly bonkers as ever. I mean, there is something incredible, as you know, you've all met her, but there's something incredibly special about Kate. She is the most incisive, brilliant broadcaster. She's just whip smart when it comes to anything to do with work, and yet she can't organise her way out of a paper bag. Honestly, she makes me look organised, which, if you ask my wife, is something incredibly impressive. And I adore her. I love working with her. And I think the thing is, I'm very lucky to work with some incredible women that are brilliant at their job, and they certainly make me better at their job. And she's one of them.
That's so nice.
Ben, we are so short of time, but you're a skilled broadcaster. Quickly, the music festival story in 30 seconds.
Well, if you want an idea about how disorganised Kate is, we went to V Festival many years ago. She had to drive home. She couldn't remember where she'd parked her car. I mean, literally, she parked in a field. Can you imagine how many cars there were? So she got me to get a load of people from the bar, and she said, we're going to have to fan out like we were looking for a missing person. And we literally marched through the car parks. And the only reason she got us to do it, she said, there's a bottle of whiskey in the back of the car. If you find my car, you get the whiskey. So all of us were there salivating, trying to... We eventually found her car. She gave us the whiskey, she drove off, and we spent the rest of the night dancing around drinking her whiskey.
That's absolutely love that. Oh, my God.
Ben, thank you very much. Good luck with the book.
Thank you for having me.